Are streaming right now. Hi everyone, welcome to LectoraLive, your inside track into Lectora. This is our pre-show. We have with us RK Prasad, who's coming to us from CommLabs in India. And we're just doing our sound checks right now, making sure everything's working okay. And RK, you can hear me fine, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So let's go through our shots. So this is going to be first shot. I'll get in the Oh, that's weird. Our shots are messed up. Yeah. Number two. That's... something happened. It just happened. One adjustment to our controller. I'm controlling the show with this. This is a MIDI controller, and we have all of our shots and show recording and stopping and everything right there. We're checking one thing for some odd reason. Okay, here we go. Let's see. So that's our two shot. That should be. Here we go. I think we'll do it again. Nothing there. That's nothing there. Okay. So we're going to be going between this shot and that shot. Okay. Now, RK, can you? Are you on a laptop?
Yes.
Can you bring the monitor a little closer to you so you're a little higher in the screen? Right there would be good. Right there, you look good. Oop, went back down. Laptops do that.
Okay.
We're better. Okay. Can you raise him a little bit on this one? We're going to adjust this shot for you a little bit on our end.
Should I switch off some lights
No,
in the
no,
room?
he's adjusting it right now. So you should be good. Is that about as high as we can go? Yep. Okay. So that's it. Yeah, we look better now. It's a little higher. Okay. And then on this one, you should be good. And we're not covering your face with the lower third. If you can go a bit higher, that would be okay. But we're just about okay.
How's this?
Okay, it's good. You can see. You see what we're seeing right now. Ah,
Okay.
that's good. Whoop, went back down. There you go. That's good. Perfect. So let me go back to this shot. Make sure we're
Right.
not too. Oh, we're perfect. Perfect. A little bit down. He's going to bring you, and we're good. Okay, so I think we are good. So I am going to actually start the show from this shot. So I am going to start the actual show. Okay, RK, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so here we go. So we are going to start the show recording in 3, 2, and 1. Hello everyone, welcome to LectoraLive, your inside track into Lectora. Today we've got with us RK Prasad from CommLabs in India. Here we go. Whether it's complete, whether it's not complete, a title area in Lectora as
So everything animates in the way it should.
And we are back. And I am joined today by RK Prasad, who is the CEO of CommLabs. Hi, RK, how are you?
Hi, Rick. I'm doing fine.
Good. I think we've met in the past, somewhere, one of the trade shows maybe. I definitely knew
Maybe.
your name.
I don't know. I don't recall meeting you in person, but we may have been more we may have bumped into each other in cyberspace.
In cyberspace, or maybe you've gone to some of the shows like DevLearn and everything, right?
Sorry?
Have you
Which
been
show?
to some of the trade shows like DevLearn or ICE or any of those?
I have been to a couple of ATP shows.
So maybe somewhere we met.
Yeah.
But anyway, you do a lot of work. Your company, well, tell us a little bit about CommLabs.
Right. Actually, it's CommLab India.
CommLab.
The name is CommLab India. It has its origins in communication lab. That's how we started it. But then we fell in love with e-learning, and we got into e-learning in 2000. And at that point of time, there were no takers in India. So per force, we had to go out to more advanced markets of US and Australia. And that's how the journey started in 2000. This is our 16th year of operation.
Great. Well,
We have worked with more than 100 customers worldwide, about 20 or so Fortune 500 companies, and we have experience of working with customers in more than 30 countries. And essentially, we work in 3 domains. One domain, the first domain is marketing and sales, in which we provide product sales training via e-learning. The second domain is enterprise software, end user training. That is, for example, if a company implements SAP or any such software, we use e-learning to conduct end user training on that software. And the third one is compliance and HR. There are a lot of compliance subjects, as you know. So e-learning is a very good, methodology. So this is our domain, and this has been our track record.
That sounds good. Now, I know you do work with Lectora. You've been involved with Lectora for quite a while.
Right. 2000, as you very well recall, we didn't have any authoring tools as such.
I know.
We used to use Flash and HTML direct coding. But somewhere in 2006, 2007, we saw that the e-learning world is moving towards authoring tools. Of course, in 2000, we had an authoring tool called Authorware, but that was very cumbersome tool, and hardly, people, instructional designers used to use it. But then, I think in 2007 or so, we saw the launch of Lectora, and we were attracted to it because of, initially because of its ability to handle very heavy text. And that's how our relationship with Lectora started about 8 years ago. And since then we have been doing we have produced many courses with Lectora, which, I will be sharing with you in the subsequent, in the later part of the interview.
Right. Well, that's good. One of the things, you got into Lectora about the same time we did. I think we got in about 2006. And I liked also that it could do text handling and that it was extensible. You could easily extend it with JavaScript or PHP or whatever you needed to do. It could handle that kind of extensibility because in essence, it's a code generator. And it generated very good HTML code. Now, I know you've done work extending it and stuff like that. And did you want to show some examples now?
Sure. Actually, as I mentioned, we have done a large number of courses using Lectora. Of course, we did use other authoring tools, and nowadays we use a lot of Storyline. But Lectora continues to be a big favorite for our customers as well as for our designers. So today I picked up 3 very interesting, cases. The first case I would like to show you is how we converted Flash courses into Lectora, trying to replicate all the functionality in Flash as well as the look and feel. This was a huge project for one of our customers who wanted to convert his large number of legacy courses into, HTML. At that time, it was HTML. The second customization, or what we tried to do with Lectora, is very interesting. We designed what we call a switchable interface. That is, in Lectora, we designed a GUI, a graphic user interface, in which multiple language courses can be accommodated in a single GUI. So the learner has the facility to change the language even in the middle of the course, is one advantage. The second advantage is for the LMS administrators, they don't need to handle so many versions of the same course in so many languages. They have to just use one file, and the learner chooses whatever language he wishes from the GUI. So that's the second example to show you.
I'm sorry, is all your text database driven?
You're getting me, Rick?
I was saying, in that second course, is all the text in a database, or are you just switching libraries on the fly?
It's inside the GUI. There's no database. So we have programmed it, and Lectora allowed us to do that, and it has become a great hit with most of our customers who use multi-language e-learning.
Yes.
And the third one is the more current one, which we are now using Lectora in a very different way to design and develop learning apps, which we are doing for a university in Hong Kong. So here we use Lectora because of its HTML5 output, and then we use PhoneGap or Eclipse, which are the softwares to actually develop the apps. So these are three very typical and I should say maybe unique features which Lectora allows the developers to do. So I will take you to the first one.
Okay.
Let me share my screen.
And while RK is sharing his screen, for those who don't know, you can use Lectora as an app development tool. It actually is pretty easy to do that. And like he said, you can use PhoneGap then to publish it to any of the particular stores like Android or iPhone. And here we are, we're back on your screen now.
Yeah. Okay, so these are the templates which we have done. We have actually developed some kind of kit. These are the templates which I wish to offer free to your viewers. So as and when the interview is published, they can go and download these templates and use them as according to their requirement.
Okay, thank
you. So as you can
nice.
see, you have slideshows, click on tabs, then you click on numbers, likewise. Of course, the sizes and the colors and images, everything can be changed, as you know. These are just the templates, as you can see. The look and feel can be further improved. And then we have multiple choice, single select, multiple select. So this is one showcase I wanted to share with you, which, as I mentioned, we will offer it free for download.
Great, that's very nice. Now, one of the things for those who are watching that they may or may not know is that Lectora has a very nice and rich ability to create templates. And then you can reuse content, and you can have, for example, instructional designers who may not be technical immediately create courses without having to really know a lot of the fundamentals of an authoring tool like Lectora. So that's a great time saver. And we will put show links to CommLab India in the show description.
Right.
Go back to you.
Shall I, Rick, can I move to the next sample?
Yes, please.
Yeah, this is what we call the switchable interface. This is a single interface which can accommodate any number of languages. Now, this particular sample has two languages. As you can see on the top right, we have English and Chinese. So this is a particular screen which I flipped over to Chinese, and it can also there can also be an audio in the course, and it automatically switches on to that audio. So as you can see, that this is a very user-friendly kind of template which we have developed in Lectora. So again, switching to Chinese, it goes effortlessly to Chinese. So the more than the facility for the learner, there is an equal or probably more facility for the LMS administrator, because he doesn't need to handle so many different versions of the same course in different languages.
Right, which is a lot of work.
Yeah. You can imagine that if a course is translated into 20 international languages, Lectora perfectly accommodates the different font sizes, different styles, and there is no clash of characters. So in addition to the ability of Lectora to handle large text, the other thing is that it can also very nicely accommodate different languages, your right to left languages or your top to bottom languages can be very nicely accommodated without any clash, which we used to experience in Flash. So this is the switchable interface, and finally I would also show you the latest one which we are doing. Of course, I can't show you the app here, but I tried to make a a mock-up here. So you can see that we have used Lectora to design and develop it in HTML5, and then pick up the HTML5 files, use other tools like PhoneGap or Eclipse to actually publish the apps, both for Android as well as for iOS.
Do you find it pretty easy to create apps in Lectora?
Yes. Actually, we were trying the hard way when we discovered that Lectora 16 is able to do that. And for responsive design, we have also tried initially Captivate 8 as well as Articulate Storyline. But I think Lectora 16 comes nearest to perfection as far as responsive design is concerned.
They did a beautiful job on that.
Yeah. So we think that with this responsive design, which they have developed to a great level of perfection, I think Lectora is going to now lead the race once again.
Yeah, the way they did responsive is very different. Captivate took the approach of recreating each page in a different format, not quite responsive, at least in the development side. But the way John Blackman developed this with his team, they did a great job of really folding and expanding upon that grid, which is really different.
Right. And another thing about Lectora's output of HTML5 is that it is editable, unlike the other tools. So we were handling a project where we had to deliver e-learning onto Blackberries. So here we succeed only with Lectora because we could edit the HTML5 with the requisite coding so that they could fit into Blackberries.
Nice. Yeah, that's actually a great feature in 16. We were doing the same thing. We were looking at different development tools, and they're all okay. They all have some limits. And then we started thinking, with 16, you're right. We can do app development with Lectora, and all we need to do is plug in some JavaScript libraries or whatever we're doing, and it could handle most of it without a lot of coding. It handles all the GUI and everything else. Nice features.
Yeah, I think those are the three samples I wanted to show.
Yeah, it's very good. There you are, you're back. So, when you first got into Lectora, you were kind of like us. You were looking for a tool that could do more. We used to be very strong in authorware. We did a ton of development in authorware. But in those days, you had instructional designers, you had your graphic artists, and then you had your authors who would do all the authorware or whatever tool they were using. You don't find a lot of authors anymore who only do authoring. Now it's usually the instructional designer, who's also a graphic artist, who's also the author. So we've consolidated into one poor instructional designer to do all the work. And that's a little tough for some of them. And I know you have graphic artists and you probably have authors that also know how to author these tools. When you work with companies, do they find that your methods are different in terms of how quickly you can produce versus how quickly the companies can produce, which is usually very slow? Are you finding that?
Yeah, you see, right from the beginning, the USP of CommLab is that we are able to deliver them fast. Funnily, we don't use authoring tools the way customers use them in, let's say, US or in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Here we have dedicated teams of instructional designers,
Yep.
graphic designers, programmers. So we work in these kind of teams, but we still found using authoring tools to be a very smart move because we were able to turn out more number of courses than if a single person who is multi-skilled can deliver. So that is a comparative advantage when we look at one single person who is an instructional designer, come authoring tool expert, come graphic designer. So here we have three people against one, and each one of them is an expert in his own domain. But the authoring tool brings them together, and we also have a quality assurance team which checks all the courses. So as you know, in India we don't lack people. Okay, so that's our advantage.
Yep, that's good. That's good. Though I do have a friend in India who runs an ERP company. He does software for ERP. Very smart guy. I've known him for years. He and I used to work on Progress Software back in our old database days. You did communications and we did database work in the old days, and now we're both in the e-learning world. So it brought a lot of us IT and technical types together. But he said one of the problems he has, now he's in, New Delhi, he has trouble keeping programmers because they keep moving back and forth. And he's familiar with that because that's just the nature of programmers. But he says that's the only issue he has. You can find them quickly, but keeping them is the tough part, making sure that they stay because they're always looking for, can I make more here? So, but learning's a little bit different. I think people are a little bit more stable in what they do. I think they tend to stay in one place. So, in your time with Lectora, it sounds like you've really liked some of the new things in version 16. They've made quite a few changes in 16, some to the UI. We started like you did with the older UI. I still kind of miss the older UI because everything was in one page. You knew how to click on everything quickly. Now you have to navigate a bit, but it's like PowerPoint, so we're used to that too. What do you find as some of the stronger features when you use Lectora that really stand out as things that make
Okay.
your performance better?
Uh, of course, as I said, the ability for the tool to publish to near perfection of a responsive design is, I think, the main, uh, you know, uh, strength, I should say, in Lectora 16.
Now, one of the things that always people ask this question all the time, and that is, what do you use as a storyboarding tool or scripting tool? Do you use PowerPoint? Do you use Word? I think that's been one of the problems with all instructional companies, that the clients have a hard time understanding a storyboard script. Then they have a hard time understanding PowerPoint. Then they have a hard time understanding graphics. Or if there's no
Right.
graphics, just a script, then they can't imagine what they need to do. How do you work around those difficulties?
You see, you rightly pointed out that uh, we sometimes have to change how we storyboard. You know, a Word document would give its own complications to the customer to approve it.
Yeah.
So most of the time, what we do is we try to develop a near, screen feeling and use a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
But PowerPoint has a disadvantage, or it's difficult to edit a PowerPoint.
Right.
They have to leave comment boxes. So each
Yeah.
one has its own disadvantages.
Sure.
Depends on the customer. If they have a proficient team on the other side, then they won't mind editing doc files as storyboards. But
Right.
if the customer's team is not so proficient, then they would want a PowerPoint, they want to see it, they can't visualize a
Right.
doc file as a storyboard. So
Yeah.
here, I think as far as Lectora is concerned, the latest one, I think the PPT kind of design, which storyboard was made famous because of that kind of a transition from a PowerPoint to an e-learning course. I think that with Lectora 16 bringing that kind of eloquent feel and format, I think is a great advantage.
Yeah. Well, RK, are you going to be presenting anywhere soon, or traveling to different shows in the near future where people can see you?
Yeah, I keep visiting US to visit my clients, and I'm planning to visit in July.
Okay.
So I haven't really made up my mind if I have to visit any trade shows or any expos.
All right. Well, we will put a link to your website, and also let people know that you have a very generous offer of giving some templates away, so that they'll be probably very happy with that. And because templates are fun, when a lot of people say we don't want templatized learning, all learning in one way or another is templatized. And by having a good template, and I like the way you did it because they look very flexible, it makes everyone's life a little bit easier.
Right. Actually, Rick, templates, yes, the people who say that templates will make the learning very monotonous or predictable are people who produce one course in a year or two courses in a year.
That's right.
But when you talk about templates, we're talking about tens and 20s and 30s of courses. So if any company is very serious with its e-learning, that they don't produce one or two courses, they produce many. And that is when these templates are very handy, because at the end of the day, it is the instructional design which is the main component in the effectiveness of teaching. And the template supports any good instructional design very well, because that is how they are designed.
That's true. And in fact, you mentioned one thing earlier, that you used Lectora to convert Flash or older Flash courses. We've done the same thing, and we found Lectora is one of the few tools, if not the only one, that can really do a good job at doing that. And people go,
Sure.
Lectora? Flash? I go, it actually, we did some complex Flash conversions where we didn't even have the Flash code. Well, we actually did. We used one of the reverse compilers to pull all the assets out. So we did
Right.
have the Flash code, sort of. And Lectora, you couldn't tell it wasn't done in Flash. The way that's the
Absolutely
beauty
correct.
of some of the things you can do with Lectora. And in the future, as they add more and more transitions, it's going to be even closer to Flash. So I'm looking forward to that. My fingers are crossed.
Yes. But you see, Flash, many people say, and even some of our bloggers keep writing that Flash has to be written off. But I somehow feel Flash will continue to exist in the e-learning design and development field. And they will, circumvent the problem of playing on iOS or any other mobile device by changing the format into a video format.
Right.
So I think Flash will continue, but still, the kind of dominance Flash had earlier, I think that is over.
I know, that's a shame. That's one very big mistake Adobe made. They gave it away for no real reason. It was stupid, actually. And the other thing is, Flash is everywhere on iOS. It's called games.
Exactly.
If you do any of the major games, they're all done in Flash. And that's what
Correct.
people don't realize. They go, wait a minute, that's done in Flash. Angry Birds is Flash? Yes, it is.
Right.
And people are very surprised when they hear that. Well, RK, I'm really glad you could come on, especially last moment. You came in to fill a gap, and we really appreciate that. And we will send people over your way in the show notes, so they'll have links to get to you and to the website. Now, if they want to get a hold of you personally, should they just send you an email, or just can they do that through the website?
Oh, they can send me an email. That'll be fine.
Okay. So if you want, we will post your email address to the show description so people can get a hold of you as well.
Absolutely. Most welcome.
Well, RK, really appreciate you coming on, and continued success in your development. And it looks like you guys are doing good work. So that's always appreciated by everyone.
Thank you very much, Rick, and I really appreciate the service you're doing to the fraternity, spreading, the good experiences of everyone in the field. I think this is something which is how learning should be done. We learn from each other without any inhibitions. And
Somehow or
I
other,
really
we all
appreciate your
collaborate.
efforts in that.
Yep. Now, we appreciate that. And RK, we'll be in touch soon. Look forward to talking some more with you.
Thank you very much, and you have a good day.
You too. Thank you much. And if you're watching the show, please subscribe. In our show notes, you'll have all the information on how to get a hold of RK. And we will be back next week with another LectoraLive. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.